Well, it's a pleasure to welcome to the show. It's Sophia Cardello, Rutgers starting goalie. Just had a huge win yesterday against Ohio State. Sophia, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome. I can't wait to chat goalie with you. I'd love to hear where it all started. Yeah. I mean, you grew up in Long Island, right? But when did you first jump into goal?
Yeah, I mean, growing up in Long Island, one of the hotbeds of lacrosse, I mean, it was really cool. So I actually didn't start playing lacrosse until 5th grade. So I always played soccer goalie. So I kind of had that goalie mentality. But I remember the first time I jumped into goal, I actually had a really high fever. Funny story. I was playing for this tournament. It was called, I don't even know what it was called, but I was playing for this random team that we put together with my PAL league, and I just hopped in goal with a fever. I was sick. My parents were like shoving me medicine, I remember, in between games, and I just fell in love with the position. I remember exactly. Me and my family still talk about it to this day. And yeah, I guess that's where it all started.
Yeah. What was it about the position that you fell in love with?
I guess just like the fearlessness of the position. Like, this sounds crazy to say, but having it all on me at the end of the day, like the end of the shot, the score, and I love the adrenaline rush it gave me. I was always aggressive in all the sports I played, basketball, softball. So I really just love taking on the position, and I don't know, it was really cool.
That's interesting. Yeah. And that background of being a soccer goalie, I mean, it's the shots aren't as similar, but at least you have this background of something getting shot at you and you having to react, right? I mean, were there other elements that you took from those other sports, basketball, soccer, what have you, that you then think helped you in your lacrosse goalie game?
Yeah, I guess it's just the aggressive drive that I always have. Just being determined to just get at the ball, always wanted to be involved in the play. Yeah, so especially in soccer, I played it since I was little. Never was quite the runner, never had the stamina for the runner. So hopped in the cage for that exact reason. And then I guess, yeah, I just fell in love with it. Just the focus and the mentality that I always had since I was younger. And that really has helped me till today.
Yeah. How do you think you fine-tuned that focus? Because a lot of young goalies email me and they say, hey, I lose focus. And it's tough. When you're such a young kid, right? And there's parents in the sidelines, or you grow a little bit older and there's boys on the sidelines, or college recruiters on the sidelines. Sometimes it's tough. People lose their focus. So how did you, it sounds like that's something you had from the early age, but how did you build that?
Yeah, I totally agree. But on the flip side of that, I always personally use that to my advantage. So I would say at the college tournaments, oh, there's people watching me. Now I got to prove them. I got to play better. So I always use that for my advantage. Just playing more confidently and more strong, and having just the aggressive drive. Like I said before, I just always maintain that as a young age. And it just keep getting better as I got older. And also as I got into college and even the end of high school, I always just had that confident and positive mindset that just really helped me strive in the position, I think.
Yeah, that's smart. It's like a reframing, right? It's not, I'm nervous because these college coaches are there. It's I get this amazing opportunity to play in front of these college coaches, or I get this amazing opportunity to play in front of that cute guy. I'm going to show him what's up, or something like that, Yeah. So yeah, I like that. That's pretty cool. So then it sounded like as soon as you jumped into goal at 5th grade, which, by the way, late bloomer in Long Island, right? I mean, geez, aren't you guys getting in there 1st grade?
See, that's the thing. So we obviously, do you know what PAL is? It's the community league, whatever. Yeah. So I've always played, like I said before, soccer, basketball, softball. We all played. I have 2 other sisters, so we all played kind of the same sports. And then actually my PAL coach back home, he was like, you got to get the lacrosse stick going. So I'm like, okay. So my dad's a football coach at home, and he never liked lacrosse because all of his players would just play lacrosse, get hurt, who'd be out for football. So we always had a thing. And my town, Massapequa, it's huge in lacrosse, state champions, great legacy. So I remember my PAL coach, he brought me into a gym after a basketball game and gave me a stick for the first time. And we just tossed it around. And then he's like, all right, Saturday, you're playing in the game, playing goalie. And I'm like, oh my God. Okay. So I guess that's where it started. But yeah, I just always loved not that it's the spotlight as the goalie, it's just the positive pressure of the goalie being a goalie and having that motivation and confidence. That's really what stuck with me.
Yeah, I love that too. It is a spotlight. I mean, let's call it what it is. I think it is a spotlight.
Right.
Like if you make a mistake, it's a point on the scoreboard. Not like attackmen, they lose the ball. Like right. I mean, it may be a goal, but 2 minutes later, when everyone's forgot about that bad play that they made. So, but at the same time, with that spotlight, you can also be the hero.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The highs and lows of the game.
Say again?
The highs and lows of the game.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. It's interesting you mentioned football because I've talked with, I didn't spend much time in Long Island, and I've gotten to know so many Long Island people just through this podcast of talking with goalies from Long Island. And a lot of them say like, we play football and we play lacrosse. And that's kind of like the mentality that we brought to the lacrosse is like, we were these tough nosed, hard nosed hitting kids that were very physical out on the lacrosse field as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So do you bring that same mentality? I mean, maybe you played soccer or you didn't play football, but it sounds like you kind of bring that same mentality to your game.
Yeah. I mean, when your dad's a coach, you always have that strong mentality since you were little. So he always taught us to be strong, confident, fearless. That was always the big three.
Yeah. Strong, confident, fearless. How did he do that? Is it just saying be strong, confident, fearless, or are there some specific lessons you remember?
I mean, I guess being a dad of 3 daughters, you got to teach them some boy qualities, I guess, especially all playing sports.
Yeah.
So just in the backyard at the park, like we always competed against each other. We're all 1 year apart. So it was also just growing up together, like getting better together at the end of the day. So it was cool. And he loves it. He always would drag us outside, have a catch in the street. So it was always cool to be with my sisters.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
How did you then go about learning how to make saves? Was it from your dad, or did you take some lessons or some camps with some other coaches?
So fortunate enough, through Massapequa, I had some great goalie coaches growing up. So I don't know if you ever heard of it. When I first started playing goalie, or probably like 6th, 7th, 8th grade, I joined breakout goaltending training.
Oh yeah, Tim O'Meara.
Yeah. So I stopped that in I want to say 10th, 11th grade, but that was probably my first real goaltending training. So that was awesome. Like it's training with like guys too. So it was like almost like they underestimated you at a point. So like, cause going up against guys, like I remember guys in Chaminade going to these great D1 schools, and I'm like in 8th grade. So I'm like, that was always cool. And that's what made me want to compete more and just like be better at the end of the day. But yeah, in high school, I was very fortunate to have a goalie coach as well. So that helped me through the way. But at the end of the day, it's just like saving the ball, I guess.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
See the ball, save the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
I just talked about breakout goaltending with Krebs. Do you know Brandon Krebs by chance?
What school is he from?
He goes to Manhattan on the men's side.
I'm not too sure.
Okay. Anyway, yeah. So breakout goaltending is awesome. Tim has presented twice at these lacrosse goalie summits that I put on, and he's tremendous. I love that guy.
Yeah, he's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, very cool. So what, there's quite a few different ways to play lacrosse goalie and have success. How would you describe, your style?
Okay, so growing up in high school, I had a totally different style than what I have now currently. Probably as like you've seen, I played very differently than other goalies. So in high school, I would say I was more jumpy, but a good jumpy, like explosive, more of like a 45-degree angle type. But now I play, I guess, more laterally, less like jumpy, but more explosive, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So I definitely play more of a flat arc now. I used to do the high arc. I like to focus on like less movement, but functional movement. So I guess less is more in a sense. Yeah, I definitely play more flat. And then like when the ball's at X, I don't turn around. So like I kind of like look behind me.
Like the ice hockey style. Yeah, I noticed that. When I was watching the tape, which is interesting. Right. I'd love to talk about that when we watch some saves. Totally. Or let's talk about right now. We're talking about style. Why do you do that?
So my goalie coach at Rutgers here, Ginny Cappuccioni, she's awesome. She's the main reason why I'm succeeding to this day. She taught me a totally different view, mentality, and perspective of goalie. So I guess just that movement is just less movement, more of just focusing on ball if it's behind, and then it's more of a head turn than like a full body twist or whatever. So I actually kind of like it more than how I used to play, because I'm in the middle already. So all I have to do is just turn my head and then just track the shot. So I'm not like teaching my goalies currently how to play that, because I think it's more advanced. But yeah, I think it's working for me. So
yeah, it's interesting. I've seen other goalies do it. The Michigan goalie does it. Mira Shane, who played at Michigan and now plays in the pros, she did it. And yeah, it's just the ice hockey style where you stand right in the middle, and instead of turning right to face the ball when it's at X, I mean, you're just looking over your right shoulder or over your left shoulder. That was probably horrible for the audio, but but you get the idea, just to explain it. So that's interesting. Yeah.
She actually taught all of us, so that's why we all play familiarly.
Mira?
No, Jenny Cappuccioni.
Oh, I see. All right, cool.
Yeah, so she coached at Michigan before she came to Rutgers.
There you go. Now it all comes full circle.
All coming back. Yeah. They're great. They're Ariel and Mira. They're great goalies.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree. Well, very cool. And then why did you switch to the flat arc? And as you're explaining that, like, you know, if a young girl is thinking about moving back and playing a flatter arc, you know, what should they look for? What kind of tips do you have for them?
Yeah. So what I think is the goal is this big. And if you're in the middle of it perfectly, you could reach all of it with one, like, I guess, reach.
One movement.
So, like,
yeah.
Yeah. So pretend you're in the middle of the goal. Like if you stick your stick out to the left and right pipe, the stick's there covering even more outside of the pipe. So I think just like finding the middle of the cage and staying back, like settle in the middle, you can reach all angles. So like I said before, I used to play a high arc, and obviously that cuts down the angle for the shooter and gives them less space to work with. That also was like really helpful for me when I played like that. But just finding a new perspective of the position was also like really helpful for me, I think.
Yeah. Did it come as you grew physically? Like how tall are you right now?
I'm like 5'4".
Okay. So yeah, not that tall. Cause I noticed, you know, sometimes goalies, when they're shorter, they do have problems getting to those corners because they don't have the reach. And so in that case, especially when you're younger, I do say that coming out a little bit allows you to reach the corners because you cut down the angle.
No, definitely.
And then sometimes as you grow, then you can, and the shots become a little bit quicker, you can move back, but throw all that out the window with you.
Yeah. So like, I think another piece of it is, so I'm not like, I guess like arched like most goalies, like shoulders back, like butt back. I'm more like crunched forward, but like explosively ready to explode up. So like, I think that's also, so I get more of my height like that. So like I'm down, I like how Ariel plays, like she's down like this, and then we're able to like spring up.
Yeah, you do. When I compare the two stances, you guys do look very similar. And like the top hand too is like more, it's not like chin or eye, like a lot of goalies have it. It's like chest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love it.
It's cool.
Yeah. All right. And so you start to have some success in high school. You know, what high school did you go to? And, you know, how did your lacrosse career in high school go?
So I went to Massapequa High School, pretty big high school in Long Island, state championships, probably in the middle of Long Island. So it's pretty known, I would say. So fortunately enough, I got the chance to play on varsity as an 8th grader. So that was really cool. We won 3 consecutive county championships in a row once I got there. So it was like history for Massapequa. It was like the first time since like 2001 or something. So that was really surreal. Yeah, high school was so cool. Can
we talk about that? Sorry to interrupt. Let's talk about that real quick, because like it's a high school. So it's 9th through 12th grade, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're not even going to that high school, and then they want you on that team.
Yeah. So, I mean, not to sell myself short, there wasn't another goalie at that time. The other goalie graduated.
All right.
But I did earn my way. I got honored and whatever. I did my part. So it wasn't like I was just put on the team. Like I really made an impact on history at Massapequa. But so in 8th grade, you have to take like a physical test to be able to be put on varsity. So I had to do like a mile, push-ups, sit-ups, like there was like a height and weight limit and everything because you're not even in high school at that point. So I had to go through all of that. But no, 8th grade it was insane. Like I didn't know what I was doing. I was just thrown in there. It was super cool. But like I said before, I had a really great goalie coach to lead me through the way until I was a senior.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't even have a senior season, but yeah, she was awesome, and she really taught me a lot about goalie because like I said before, I didn't have too much goalie training. I just had like goalie reps at breakout. So I wasn't like coached by a goalie, but yeah, that was super cool. And then,
was there like a mental thing going on? Because I would imagine like as an 8th grader, you get pulled up to the varsity team of high school. And like my immediate thought goes like, wow, like that's a tough situation mentally. And I would be trying to look for advice of like, man, I'm going to be playing with these 12th graders. Like, how do I do it? Was some of that going on in your head, or were you just so new to the position? You're like, I'm just going to go for it.
I mean, probably in 8th grade and a little bit of 9th grade, I probably was, I'm just going to do it. I'm here. So it was kind of like that, like a rookie mentality. Like I got nothing to lose. I got a chip on my shoulder. My team's doing well and I'm part of that. So it kind of was like that. But I guess once 10th and 11th grade sat in, like it was like, okay, this is my team. Like, let's get to work type of vibe. So I think that was a huge part of it. But also like I always loved being like the younger person and being like the underdog, I would say, because people are probably like, oh, she's in 8th grade. She's 14. She's 15. Like she's probably not good. So I also kept that in the back of my mind when I was playing against like these top D1 commits. Like I would always say this to people, I played against Jamie Ortega. So I thought that was super cool. So I guess just being the underdog and being the rookie, that always was a great mentality to have.
It is a great mentality to have. I had one like mental psychologist on the podcast, and he said that like most of the elite athletes, like at one point in their career have been like wronged, like cut or like overlooked for an award. And so they carry that chip on their shoulder, and it really helps them. It really motivates them to succeed. And it sounds like you're the same way.
Yeah, no, I totally can agree to that. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So I guess you have some success at that 11th and 12th grade then is 2020 for you, right? And that season's
COVID.
kaput. Which was a bummer. I imagine.
Mad about that.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, it was tough on everybody, but for somebody, well, let me ask you this. Were you one of those athletes that like lacrosse was like a huge part of your identity?
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't say just lacrosse. I would say just being like an athlete. So like I played basketball until 11th grade. So like it wasn't just lacrosse. So, but I would say, yeah, definitely just lacrosse. In my town, I was known as like lacrosse because not too many of my friends or played sports. So I kind of was just like lacrosse in a lot of people's minds. But as sad as that sounds, I'm still a person. But yeah, lacrosse was huge in my mind.
Sure. No, I mean, 100%, everyone's still a person, but like a lot of people, a lot of people do like, put their identity with that sport. And, and then when that's taken away, it's like, wow, crap, who am I now? You know what I mean?
Reality check. Yeah.
So yeah. What did you do during COVID to kind of remain sane?
Went out with my sister, my younger sister, she's going to Hofstra next year.
Nice.
She's a goalie as well. So we would just take turns shooting on each other at the park.
There you go.
Yeah, I guess I just like worked out and stuff. Not much across. Me and my friends would go down to the field, reminiscing that our season just got canceled and play around. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Are you a big workout person? What does that mean? Is that the gym? Is that something else? What do you do to work out?
Yeah, I'm definitely not a cardio girl. I'm definitely more of a weight room type and then working out. So I love the weight room. It's just like different scene from the field. You really just have like other goals in the weight room trying to hit that PR and stuff like that. So like, it's just a different perspective of like your personal training and stuff like that. But yeah, I like the weight room a lot. And that's definitely like my top training, I would say.
Yeah, love it. I wouldn't expect you to be a cardio girl if you're a goalie, by the way. I am not a cardio guy. I'm a goalie. So there you go.
Yeah. I mean, some goalies are. It's really impressive. It's really impressive how some goalies just love to run or run that ball out or stuff like that.
All right. Well, yeah, like short little sprints of running the ball out. That's very different than distance cardio, which I don't even think is good training for lacrosse goalies, if we're being honest.
I don't either.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. All right. So you and me are in the weight room.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. My cardio is the walk to the gym.
Yeah. Actually, funny. I do a little cardio. This is not cardio. I do actually weighted ankle. I have ankle weights, so I could do
Love
walks
it.
with that. It's like hamstring, glute.
Yeah. You ever played lacrosse in those?
I do actually. Yep. At warm-ups.
Yeah. Love it.
And then you take them off and you feel like a feather.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, anytime you add resistance and do reps, when you take away that resistance, like you just feel so much quicker.
Yeah. That's a cool, different type of training.
Yeah. So I would love to hear your recruiting story. How did Rutgers come into play, and why did you decide to go there?
Yeah. So to be honest, my recruiting process kind of sucked. Not a lot of the schools that I thought I wanted to go to, they didn't pick me, or it didn't work out. But besides all that, I stayed humble and just persevered through it all, and just knew that I would find my home. So funny story, September 1st, when the rule, the whole rule and everything like that, UPenn was my first call, and it was actually my current coach, Melissa. So she was at UPenn before, so then she left, and then she went to Rutgers, and this is her third year here now. So I was still uncommitted at that point, kind of struggling. So I played in this Triple H tournament uncommitted, so I was just thrown on a random team. And then I played against the Rutgers committed team. Luckily, a week after, I committed to Rutgers, and I just found my home here. Like the first phone call at September 1st, I loved Coach Melissa. She was great. And obviously UPenn was a little out of my reach, I guess, at that point, or what I thought it was. But I'm just so glad that I found home here at Rutgers, because it's really just like an honor that I got the chance to just come in and work for my spot. And we're doing really well now. We're top 15, and that's so new to this program, and we're just building onto it. And yeah, so looking back on it, it sucked, the recruiting process, but like I wouldn't change it for the world, for where I am now. So yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. That's a great attitude to have, because so many people, I think, stress about, everything. You stress about everything, right? It's like, right. Oh, this kid's committed, I'm not. Oh, there's college coaches that are going to be at this tournament. Like, what do I do? I'm not getting the looks from the schools that I want. So they stress about a million things instead of just like letting the process play out like you did.
Yeah.
And guess what? You're happy, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I tell to a lot of kids, that like, listen, college is amazing. And the ability to play college lacrosse is amazing. And it doesn't really matter where you end up. It really doesn't. I mean, you got to do your due diligence and make sure you like the school and the program and all that stuff. But as long as you do that, like, you're going to have a great time.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, September 1st of your junior year is when colleges can first contact you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Penn calls you September 1st. And what did they say? I mean, what they just said, we're looking at you, we're interested, or like, I don't understand what happened there.
Yeah, I guess it was more of a, we're interested. We saw you play at this tournament, whatever it was. I have no idea what it was, but and I remember going to a prospect day, enjoying the school, and I loved it. Obviously, it's like UPenn. It's a great school, great program. So, but I really just fell in love with Coach Lehman. She's great. Still love her to this day. So that's kind of, I was like fixated on UPenn, but then, I got the call. Listen, Sophia, you're great, but the grades, that was the main. Yeah, I couldn't get that SAT up, so that was whatever. Everything happens for a reason. And then like looking back on it, me and my mom always say like life's a full circle. So she was my first call. Had a terrible process. Whatever happened. But now she scooped me back up, and look where I am now. So that's
so then she goes over to Rutgers. She still has you on your mind, and reaches back out and then makes it happen.
Yep.
Cool.
Exactly.
And you committed there your senior year or junior year?
So it was summer going into really late summer going into senior year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Awesome. Well, you guys are now, I mean, you just beat Ohio State. So we've got the Big Ten championships coming up. Yeah. Next week, 2 weeks.
Friday.
Who do you got?
Northwestern.
That's going to be a great game.
Yeah.
That's going to be a great game.
Should be.
Yeah. They've got some powerhouse scorers.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I love it. Well, I got some saves. Can we take a look at a few saves from the Ohio State game? Yeah,
definitely.
I just made this today. So normally I have like some more questions prepared, but we'll get through this.
All good. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, all right. Talk to me a little bit about road trips.
Yes, road trips.
Excuse me.
No, you're good. We always joke about road trips and stuff like that, but actually Ohio State was super easy. The flight was like an hour. But same mentality, get there, do the job and leave. I mean, not playing on our home turf is something that we always love doing, but it's also just like going to someone else's turf and just winning, I guess. That's simple as that. But no, Ohio State was a great team. They played really well. Also just like going to different schools, it's just such an experience, and it's really cool to see like compare what we have compared to what they have. So that was also really cool to see. But yeah, it was a great game last night.
Yeah. I found that when I played on the road, like obviously you're not in front of your fans, and that's a disadvantage, because I don't know how it is for you, but you know, the opposing fans, they like to get in your ear, especially as goalies. But on the other hand, like you're so focused because like you're just there for one reason. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so in that way, like I did enjoy road trip. It was just a business trip, you know,
Exactly.
handle
Business
your
trip. Yeah,
business.
we always joke about that.
Do you? That's
Yeah,
funny because I mean I played in 2003. I graduated, and we would always call them business trips.
business trips. Yep.
All right, talk to me about the stick head. You got the Rutgers dyed custom stick head on the Eclipse 2. That thing is looking nice.
Yeah, it's so cool. I was stoked when we got those in our locker in the beginning of the season.
They just
Those
gave
are
them to you?
awesome. Yeah, we got them.
All right. So you don't even know who made it.
No, I really don't. I think STX, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, well, obviously the Eclipse 2 they made, but someone had to custom dye this thing.
Yeah, whoever that did a great job.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. What do you like to do for warm-ups? Like talk me through your warm-up routine.
Yeah, so you see that's a white ball. So those aren't like men's balls, those are foam balls. So we just use them for like just in case you get hit, so it doesn't stop like your movement and stuff, or like if you get hit, it doesn't hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So also for a vision thing, obviously it's harder to see that white ball, but it's more of like a protection thing. We also use golf balls for vision. So those hurt more than a regular ball, but I think I really like using the golf balls because it really makes you focus.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like the warm up we do. We just do regular high, mids, lows, and then we do like alley drives. So we go middle to outside and then outside to inside, and then we'll go like sides vertical.
Nice.
I like the warm up that we do.
Yep, love it. It looks like your top hand's like a little bit like in on this one. Is that normally how you set up, or are you doing something different here?
And you mean like closer to my body?
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep it closer.
Yeah, interesting. Talk to me about that. Is that so you can like you can then drive it out?
Yeah, so I think having it back more like allows you to like kind of like steer it more. So like not that it's in front of my face more. Also, I think it really helps me like preventing from hitching a little more since it's closer to me, so I see it better. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So yeah, 11-3. I always did this too when I went down. Just made sure the goal was like perfectly set up there.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Yeah, silly question that a parent asked me the other day. When you have long hair as a girl, like pretty much a low bun or a low ponytail is like your only option, yeah?
Yeah, my hair is way too long to have it hanging down.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm like you're not talking to the right person there on that question, but I'll ask somebody.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So first save. Yeah, let's take a look at. Oh wait, no, this is not.
Easter Sunday was senior day as they recognize all of the seniors, and they all started.
Yeah. That's a great save. It's just so amazing in the women's game when I watch it. I mean, this girl comes ripping at you full head of steam. And like people often ask me, say like, why are the women's save percentages much lower than the men's? Is because this is it. Like, this is the shots you see. I mean, like, 2 yards away, nobody guarding them. But talk me through this save.
Yeah. So what I like to focus on, I don't know if you ever like heard this term, but I'll explain it to you. So I like to focus on the side. So I guess a lot of goalies like to just focus on the ball or just like focus on the girl where she's moving. But when I say side, I mean like the whole general area of like the stick. So whether it's top or bottom of it, I like to just focus on that like negative space because you don't know where she's going. She's going high, low, mid. So I like to focus on like where that ball is leaving her stick. So yeah, that's kind of like my main focus on all of my saves. But
interesting.
yeah,
Let me ask a
coming
question
high.
on that. So
Yeah.
if I could, so she's got the ball in her stick right here. It's in her right hand, right? But you're not looking at the ball in the stick as much as you are just that whole window on the right side of her, because you know the ball is going to be released in that window. Is that
Yeah.
a good way
Yep.
to explain it?
Yeah, because she can always pull it back and fake, and obviously like tracking that ball on their stick when she's faking it, that's gonna make you not concentrate as much. So I think just watching that whole general area, because you don't know where that ball is gonna end up. You know what I mean? So like, I think just watching that whole negative space and like blanking out the rest of it is really gonna help you focus up on that ball.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. And there's a term, read them and beat them too, where like you kind of look at their body language of where they're going to shoot,
Right.
and beat them to the spot. Is that something that you do?
I mean, I always look for the shooter cues. Like if she's dropping her shoulder, I know she's going low, or if she's like harping back, I know she's gonna rip it high. But
Uh-huh.
I kind of just try to like look at the side and just focus up on that ball, like where it's getting released, not as much as like, I guess, where the ball is in her stick, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Love it. This is a good, actually, there's a better one we can do later. I was going to show an example of that here, kind of. But yeah, even like when someone's at GLE, I mean, you are right smack in the middle of the cage there, and just kind of turn your head and to pick up the ball.
Right. So like for that instance, people actually do ask me about that. Like, let's say like I'm in the middle here right now. How do you not, obviously she's very far away, but for example wise, so like I'll be in the middle when she's like over there, because she's not shooting from there. She's most likely going to feed, if anything.
Mm-hmm.
So what I like to do is like if it's in the hashes, like on those right there, then I'll get to my pipe, you see?
Yep.
Because then she could rip that. But if she's out there looking to feed, doing whatever, I'm going to stay in the middle in case that ball gets fed in. But once she starts creeping into the 8 and creeping, yep, that's when I'll get to my pipe.
Yeah. Love it.
And I'm back in the middle.
Yeah. And then when, like, let's say she keeps sweeping across the top here, when would you move on your arc? How do you play those sweeps?
Yeah. So I don't necessarily move, and I try to stay middle as much as I can, because like I said before, if you're in the middle and you track that ball correctly, you can get to each spot of the goal. So see, when the ball gets moved, I kind of just twist my body.
Yeah.
See, then, yeah. So I kind of
just like a little adjustment step.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. And then this is actually a great example, because she starts this one on the right hash, or the right football hash, I should say. And then ends up, shooting at top center. And if you watch your footwork, I mean, it's just a little step, gather, balanced, boom, explode high.
Right. And I like to always keep it in the back of my head, like you can always be late to the sides, left or right, but you can never be late to the middle. So meaning like always get to the middle early, because I always like to think middle is your safe ground.
Mm-hmm. By the way, anytime you make a save and there's an opposing attack woman with their hands in the air celebrating, I'm going to count that as a good save.
Oh, come on. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. You see it all the time on really good saves. Like, they're already celebrating, and then you make the goalie makes the save, and then they're like, oh.
Disrespect.
Yeah, I like it.
Funny.
Here's a really good example of that, playing the ball from X. Are you in this scenario, is your right foot against the right pipe there? So would you,
yes.
Are you kind of angled over to one side with your body?
So like that, I like to call it like she's in a shooting position. So like she looks like she could drive up that crease and rip GLE, or even take it in front of the crease. So that's when I'm preparing my right foot on the pipe, and then my left foot, I call it a drag. So my left foot is going to be ready to drag if she feeds it, and then I'm back in my center position. But if she
I didn't understand the drag. Your left foot is ready to, what do you mean drag?
My left foot is like in my goalie stance position for middle.
Okay.
So once that ball gets fed in, I turn and I'm in my position already.
I got you. Okay.
So it's like they're ready. So like if she were to rip that GLE, all I do is just bring my left foot up even with my right, and then I just like square to the ball.
Square to the ball. Yep.
I don't jump at it. I'm just square to it.
Love it. What happens on this play here?
Inside.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That is a really, yeah, it is the commentator says tremendous dodge. It is a really nice juke. She jukes in there and then
Yeah.
bam, nice save. I mean, that's just pure reaction at that point, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know if you have anything else to add on that one.
So back to like the warm up, we do warm up shot. So coach just stays on the top of the crease and just rips high. So I guess that's where all my like in the girls game, it's so important. Like you're not getting rips from the 20 in girls games like the men do. So
Right.
I think a huge part of our game is those inside shots, because most of the time you're 1-on-1 with the shooter. So I think just practicing those inside shots, whether it's high, mid, low, like I guess as a shooter, you think, oh my God, I'm one-on-one with the goalie. I'm going to score this every time. So I guess if you get into the routine of just like getting comfortable with those one-on-one shots, I guess you can make those saves like that.
Yeah, I love it. Because the defense is so tricky, right? Like this girl can't, number 30 here, like this is all she can do is kind of put her stick in the way. Like in the men's game, they can come over here and just crunch them.
Yeah, and she can't even come up to the crease because that'd be shooting space.
She can't what? Go into the crease?
Yeah, because that'd be shooting space, right? So.
Wow, you tell me. That shooting space.
Yeah,
rules.
so like, I hate that damn rule, but if she were to come in front of the girl, it would be shooting space.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So all she can do is put her stick there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing much you can do.
All right.
Baez. Good pass in front.
Yeah, this is kind of like, it shows you how this style of playing the ball at X really helps, because they catch the ball from behind, and then they feed, and she puts a shot on, and it's just like all you do is like turn your head around and you're right there.
Yeah.
Whereas you know, if you're playing the other way, you do have to like turn around and you're like moving in a circle, and having to pick up the ball makes it a little trickier.
Right. I mean, I guess playing like this, I guess teams use it to their advantage because they get to feed more. Because I mean, I'm not facing. You're not
gonna pick it off.
Right. But also at the same time, it's equal because I think it's more to my advantage. Given that's like a little bobbly shot, I'm still in the right place to scoop that ball up.
Yep. What do you do for working on your outlet games? It looks like you can throw pretty nice outlets. I mean, that one was 30 yards on the money. What do you do for outlets practice?
I guess I've always been like naturally throwing the ball far, but I guess it's just we do a lot of clears at practice, so I get to hit the open spaces a lot. But I love clearing. That's probably one of my favorite things about my game is clearing the ball far.
Nice.
It's exhilarating, honestly. Like you make a save and then you hit a girl on the 50. Like it's the coolest thing. I mean, the crowd goes crazy, but
yeah. Well, I'm sure the weight room has a lot to do with that, because there's a lot of strength involved in you know, especially in the core. In terms of getting distance on the clears. So
yeah, definitely.
So don't tell me it's natural. It's the weight room and practice.
Yeah. All right, weight room. Fine.
There we go.
Pereira spinning around.
Oh, I don't remember that one.
You don't remember that one?
No.
That's a nice save. That's a nice save. It looks like you're like coming out here to play a little bit of defense. She's like right on the crease, starting at the outer edge of the fan here, and then goes all the way in the middle. And you just kind of like, these ones always amaze me because, as goalies, it's tough because especially if you're on that high arc, it's a lot of movement. And that's one of the beauties of that flat arc that you play there is like just little step. By the time she shoots, you're in good position and you're ready to attack it.
Right. So funny thing you said that I kind of played defense there before. So, this week at practice, me and the other goalie on my team, we kind of imitated Reagan Alexander. She had a great game, by the way.
She did, yeah.
Yeah, so we kind of imitated her for our shooting drills that we did with the attackers because she's very active and she's very good at picking off passes. So me and my other goalie had a lot of fun messing with the attackers, coming out of cage, trying to clip off some passes. So I guess kind of channeled my
incorporated it into your game. Yeah, I always say in all seriousness, goalies should experiment with different styles and different things because you never know. Like, hey, I love this. This is great.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. This was the craziest play, by the way. Do you remember this one where Reagan like gets checked, loses the ball, your girl catches it and like tries to shoot it, and a defender makes the save? It's pretty amazing.
I know. That was crazy. Good play on their part.
Good play on their part. Yeah. All right, let's look at a few more here.
See if Spillis was Epstein denied. Cardello is there.
Nice save. So in this one, I mean, this is essentially a 1-on-0 at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
What do you do on these? It almost looks like you're baiting her to go high. Am I seeing that right, or is that, or no?
It definitely looks like that, but I don't think I was intentionally doing that, to be honest. But I think I should really start incorporating bait method. But I guess I'm just like springing to explode in a way. Yeah. So it definitely does look like I'm baiting her, but I guess I just like hunch down or like
kind of like spring and then explode up.
Yeah. I love those saves. Those are definitely my favorite types of saves.
Oh, of course. Are you kidding me? These are awesome. These are the best saves.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, you guys are down by 2. It's the beginning of the third quarter. I mean, these are huge saves.
No, I agree.
All right, let's take a look at one in the fourth. Not as many saves in the fourth. It kind of slows down a little bit in terms of the saves, but
yeah.
Yeah, perfect. I mean, that's just another example. I mean, that's probably an easier save because she doesn't put much mustard on that shot. But I mean, you're in a great position to get it, and
yeah,
there you go. And you guys ended up winning that game, and congratulations. I mean, that was a huge game in terms of the seedings. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'd love to talk to you a little bit more about the mental game if we could. Because it's tough. It's tough as lacrosse goalies. Like, you get scored on, and I mean, it's very easy to go to a negative place. When I talk about mental toughness, what comes to mind for you? Like, what lessons have you learned along the way?
So I'm definitely more of like a mental goalie when it comes to having that correct mindset and that confidence. So at the end of the day, I just like to tell myself that you're gonna have good days, you're gonna have bad days, you're gonna have even worse days and even better days. So I kind of just like to stay level-minded and just always humble. I always like to be confident and just like remember who I am at the end of the day and just know that I could do this. And I like to tell myself that if I'm having a bad game, I just like think it's like a longer warm up. So like, if that makes sense to you, I don't know, but like, I know that I'm not a bad goalie. It's just that like my mind's not right at that moment. So like, I always try to just like dial in. So we have a sports psychologist actually, and we do like this exercise called like anchor breaths. So it's kind of just like a inhale, exhale, and then you kind of just like reset. So I'm huge into the visualization part of the game, stuff like that. So if I'm letting 3 goals go in, and I just kind of just like reset, like a mental reset. And I think that helps me a lot, and just always just like remaining confident and just like remember who you are.
Yeah. That's like 10 great tips all wrapped into one answer right there. So let's break it down. We've got the reset, sort of the reset routine with the breath, which is great for every goalie. I mean, I think every goalie should have some sort of reset routine, because you get scored on and it's this really intense situation, right? You know, especially if it's like a really big game or a really big moment, or the fans are really getting on you. And so like deep breath. A lot of goalies do like some sort of physical thing too. I don't know if you do that.
Yeah. So that's another thing that we do. So I like usually just like tap my pipes.
Yeah. A lot of goalies tap the pipes.
Yeah. Or I just like punch the stick, like the head of it.
Yep.
Something like that. I never try to get angry at myself, because that always leads to bad things. I kind of just like try to motivate myself in a way. So I'll say like, come on, let's go. Like, breathe. Just like reset. And also like we've been taught this since we were little, like goalies should have the worst memory. Like a goal goes in, it's like, okay, next play. Always just that next play mentality. And like always, I think always just trying to prove something. So you let a goal in, you're like, okay, I'm gonna get this next one. So you really just have that mindset. And like I said before, like all goalies that that we play, they're good. They're there for a reason. They're a D1 goalie. So they've proved themselves to the point. And I think at the end of the day, it's all like a mental game, especially being a goalie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing you mentioned is I try not to let my confidence get down. And that's hard. That's really hard. I don't care how good you are. I don't care what industry you're in, right? There's going to be days where you start to doubt your abilities, right? I mean, I know like me doing my business, there's some days where I'm just like, man, I'm not good. I'm not doing that good. And there's other days where I'm like, hey, I'm killing it. And I'm sure you've had both as a lacrosse goalie. When you have those negative days, right? When those thoughts start to come in your mind, you're like, damn, I can't save a beach ball. How do you get out of that?
Yeah, so definitely. I just like always just try to like remember where I came from, like who I am at the end of the day. Like, I think confidence is huge in my game. I always try to like just like try to find the best of myself because like I said before, like I've had really bad games and it's like I know I'm not a bad goalie. It's just that my mind's not helping me out. I'm not in the correct headspace. But I think confidence is like just really huge. And also like once you get your confidence going, that confidence radiates. So
Sure.
if I'm playing good and my team's doing good, like we have that confidence to keep the game rolling, that the other team's going to be scared. So I also think just like always being positive. Like I think body language is huge. Like I've always been taught to not show off body language, especially as a goalie. Like you're the center of attention most of the times in a game. So I think it's always just important to keep your head up, have like just look strong, look confident at the end of the day. Like that's just the biggest part of being a goalie. Everyone can make saves. At the end of the day, it's just like if your head's not there, you're not making saves.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I mean, body language is so key. Like even if you're a young goalie and you have no confidence, it's like, act like it. Head up, shoulders back. Just, carry your body like you are a confident goalie. And guess what?
Right.
You're going to start to feel a little bit of confidence. And then, like you said, it's this snowballing effect where like now you make 8 saves in a game and you're like, hey, I am a good goalie. And you start to believe that like you do. Right.
Yeah.
So you're like, I am a good goalie. I know it. So if I have a bad game, that's not me. Right. I need to get back to who I am. Yeah. I love that. Yeah.
That's huge in my game, I think.
Yeah. And then what else did you mention there? Visualization. Visualization is key as well. So how do you use visualization? Are you just, certain time in the off time outside of practice, just, visualizing, making saves? Is it something else?
Yeah. So this sounds a little cheesy, but I'm sure a lot of goalies do this. I like to look back at like games of me playing when I'm playing good and making saves. So kind of just bringing me back to that mindset of, listen, I can do that. I've done it. Let's do it again type of thing. So also just like we have like I said before, like psychology meetings before games. So we have this thing where we all get into the zone. So we kind of just like picture things, imagine things. So I always try to like visualize scenarios of me saving the ball, like whatever team we're playing, I'm picturing, okay, I'm saving balls against Northwestern. I'm doing this. So like, it's almost like kind of like manifesting your greatness. So I think it's just really important to be like, also like believing you could do it and then you do it. Like I said, like we've made saves, we can win games, we can do this. But if you don't believe that you can, it's never going to happen.
Yep. Visualization is a very powerful tool. I mean, they've done studies that say like visualization, doing those reps are almost as good as actual reps on the field. It's that powerful. So, all right, man, that was just a little lesson. I can tell you guys got a sports psychologist on the team there. There's so many great tips in that one.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else that he's taught you that we should talk about, or is that pretty much it?
Yeah, that's pretty much it, honestly.
Okay.
I'll add one more thing.
Yeah. All right.
So, okay. So we had a meeting last week before our Penn State game, and he always likes to call on me because I always got something good to say. So he's like, Sophia, let's hear it. So we were talking about stress versus pressure, and this resonated with me a lot because from a goalie at the end of the day, like it's either you had a great game and you're the hero, like you said before, or you had a bad game and it's all your fault at the end of the day. So I try to look at things like stress is negative. So like if you're having a lot of stress about a game or you're just stressed out in general, that's not good for your mental state and then you're not going to perform. But if you have a lot of pressure on your shoulders, that means that you have a lot of people out there that believe in you and know you could do it. So I like to call it, or like I said in the meeting, like positive pressure. So like stress is a bad thing, pressure is a good thing, that you have people that believe in you and know you could perform and do it. So that's why there's pressure weighted on you at the end of the day. So yeah, it's my little speech.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
It's something I've thought about quite a bit as well, because a lot of young goalies say like, hey, I get this like pregame anxiety, which is so much stress to the point where you're sort of freaking out, right?
Yeah.
And that's not good. I will say like a little bit of, and I don't even like to use the word stress. I like to use the word excitement.
Yeah.
It's almost the same thing. If you think about what your body does when you're stressed and when you're excited, it's all like, you get a little bit more of the heart rate going, maybe, your body responds the same way. And so why not call it like excited? Are you stressed? No, I'm not stressed. I'm excited. It's this positive energy that you get to bring to the game.
Yeah.
So that's one way I like to reframe it. I don't know if you've ever heard that.
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah, no, definitely. So like when everybody, like I remember last year we were going into NCAA's first time, Rutgers has ever won a game in NCAA. So everyone's like, and I'm a freshman and everyone's like, are you nervous? Are you nervous? I'm like, no, like I'm excited. Like,
yeah,
I'm ready to kick ass. Like, this is great. My thing about the anxiety and stress, especially being a goalie, I always like to tell myself, I got to touch the ball. So like, not only if let's say like I let the first one or two goals in, it's like, okay, let me get a ground ball. If I'm not making saves at that moment, let me get a ground ball. Let me touch the ball. But after that I make that first one or two saves, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to roll. Like, I think that's also super important is not only having the confidence to get in the game, but once you're in the game, make a save. Now you have that first touch confidence and then you're ready to perform.
Love it. Yeah. I was talking to another goalie too, and he said that he loved giving up that first goal because it's kind of like,
I've heard both sides.
Yeah. Well, he also loved getting the first save. And I was more of the first save camp. Like I felt once I got a touch or a save or even made a play, like chased a ball out, like I was then into the flow of the game. But he said, kind of like when a baseball pitcher has like a no hitter going and like the nerves like kind of build up. Right. And so then when he gave up a goal, he's like, all right, I can just relax. Like I'm obviously not going to get a shutout. Let's go. Let's play.
Right.
So interesting.
No,
all right. Yeah. Very cool. How about a couple more questions if you got time?
Yeah, please.
All right, let's do it. How about when we think about like, goalies at the next level, are there like pros or maybe college goalies when you were in high school that you like to watch and learn from?
Yeah. So like I said before, like I was a late bloomer in the game of lacrosse. So I never really was huge on watching lacrosse like most people did, but I vividly especially remember, like, I think it was like 7th or 8th grade. I always loved watching Kaylee Waters and Megan Taylor. And like, I remember like in 7th grade, like my dad would turn on TV, like when it was on the TV and he'd be like, get down here. We got to watch these goalies. And I just like remember being like amazed of like the focus and the explosion that they have. And like, I definitely think that inspired me to just like continue my journey of being a lacrosse goalie. And like, I don't think I've ever had like being any doubts of being a goalie. I always knew that I would fit into this position. It's never like I was like, okay, now I got to play midi. I'm bad at this. I mean, let me play midi. It was never like that. So I kind of think it was just like looking at those goalies, making them my role models, and just like getting into their shoes almost.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and what great role models. Meg and Kaylee are two of the best to ever do it. So. And they're great teachers as well. I've had them both on that goalie summit, and they just give some awesome coaching.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. All right. Well, Sophia, thank you so much for coming on. What about, one more question, the slump. Have you ever gone through a slump and like an extended slump? And if so, like, how do you get out of that?
Oh yeah. So actually I think I was in a slump this year a little bit in the beginning of the year. I think the thing with me is I think if I'm not like playing against the best competition, that I think I swoop down to that level. And like that's the thing that I need to work on is like no matter who I'm playing, every team's a great team. So I think I need to just like focus on myself at the end of the day. Like I have to play every game like I'm playing Northwestern and Maryland. So I think that was like my kind of slump of the season where I kind of just like got onto a roll. I had some bad games, but then like I said before, I know I'm a good goalie. It's the confidence. So when I'm playing against these teams, it's kind of like I have to build myself up in a sense because if my team is swooping down to that level, that doesn't mean I can. So like, I think that's huge. And also just like getting back into the zone and getting back into that focus if I'm in a slump, and also just like remotivating myself throughout the week. I try to just like do things that help me get motivated throughout the week. If I'm having a bad week of practice or had a bad game, now I got to reset. So I think that's huge for goalies to do, and just really care about like mental health and also like the physical health of their bodies at the end of the day. That's huge.
Yeah. Awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Which girl on your team has the fastest shot? Toughest shot. I don't know if it's different. Toughest shot to save.
Yeah, no, there's a few. So TT Neslonsky, it's one of the hardest shots in the team. She's a sidearm ripper.
Okay.
And then I would have to say Marin Hartshorn, she could rip it from outside the 8 and it'll still go in. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, they're too great. And they also help me after practice. We take extra shots and they're always helping me improve and vice versa. So they're great teammates for that.
Yeah. Love it. Well, Sophia, thank you so much for coming on. This is tons of fun talking lacrosse goalie. Good luck in the rest of the conference tournament and the NCAA tournament. And we'll definitely be watching.
Totally. Thank you so much for having me again.
Yeah. If you had to leave the goalies out there with the final piece of advice, what would that be?
I think just like be yourself, honestly, just like remain true to your goals, and just constantly always motivating yourself, and just like acknowledging that you're in a really, really hard position, and just to give yourself credit at the end of the day. Like, you're going to have bad days and you're going to have really good days, but just always stay level-headed and humble, and always be confident in your play, and just remember who you are. So
don't be so hard on yourself. I love it.
Exactly. Don't be so hard on yourself. It's just a sport.
There you go. Sophia, thank you so much.
All right. Thanks so much for having me.